Hey, what's up, Thrive family? Jim here, and welcome to week 3 of our series, Christmas Lights. When I was in high school, my best friend and I would hang out a lot. So much so that it sometimes felt like I spent more time at his house than I did my own. And that probably wasn't true, but sometimes it felt true. We'd go everywhere together. My family and my extended family knew who my friend was, and they even knew my friend's family really well. And his family knew me even better than that. We were so close that he would invite me to all his family's gatherings, like birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, and tons of other things too. And I remember showing up to some of these things and wondering if I was really supposed to be there or if I was only there because someone didn't tell him to not invite me. You probably know what that's like. But I'd show up and everyone was just so happy to see me. His parents, his grandparents, even his aunts and uncles, they were all genuinely glad that I was there. Now, I wasn't related to anyone there, but I showed up because I was invited, and it was awesome. And I think all of us have been there at some point, right? Where we get surprised by an invitation. And maybe you made the team when you didn't expect to, or maybe you got into a class filled with people you consider maybe smarter than you, or maybe you feel like you're in a friend group with people that are way cooler than you. If you've ever felt that, are you kidding me, or how did I get here feeling? You have a lot in common with some people at the very first Christmas. Now, we've spent the last couple of weeks talking about the Christmas story, but let's go back and revisit it for a few minutes because I think there's some really important details that I don't want us to miss. You see, for thousands of years, Israel was waiting for their Messiah, the promised one who would come and change everything. As the anticipation built, everybody had ideas about how it would all go down and who would get to hang out with him and what kind of people would have access to him. And maybe most of all, what he would be like. But everything about how Jesus arrived to Israel was surprising. They thought that the type of people who would be in the know would be the religious leaders and kings. They thought that the powerful people would be the first ones on the invite list for his big arrival party. But instead, it was very different. Let's check it out in the book of Luke. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over the flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people." Now, did you catch that? The first people invited were shepherds. Now, here's why that's important. You see, most of us don't live around a lot of sheep or shepherds, but back then, shepherds weren't the most popular, the richest, the powerful, or the religious people. See, that's what made it so interesting that an angel shows up and announces to them the news of the Messiah and invites them to go see for themselves. Now, I have no way of knowing for sure why God chose to let them know first. But I do know he does everything on purpose. And I can't help but imagine he was making a point about what kind of people were invited. Not just rich, not just powerful, not just popular, not just athletic, not just academic, but shepherds too, and eventually everyone else. Now, in this moment, this huge and world-changing moment, God was making a statement. All that mattered was that they were invited. So, why do we care? Well, here's why. Because you're invited too. Just like the shepherds, you and I are invited too. Now, I don't know what your experience with church has been like before this moment. This might be your first experience with the church. This might be your first time at New Spring. Or it could be that you've spent most of your life in church. It may have been amazing, or you could have had some bad experiences. You might feel excited about church, or you may come expecting things to be weird or awkward. Now, if that's you, I get it. And I want to let you know that no matter what you've experienced or what you're feeling, there's one thing we can know for sure. And that's that you're invited and you belong here. You belong because God says so. But I also hope that you know we want you to be a part of our Thrive family. This ministry, after all, is for you, and we care deeply about you. And we genuinely want you to be a part of the community that God is building here. And being here doesn't mean you have to act like somebody else, believe like everybody else, or leave your doubts and questions at the door. The real you is invited here. Now, maybe that surprises you, and that's okay, because Jesus surprised people from the very beginning. And whether this is your first time or your 50th, I hope you continue to come and that you'll find a home and a community here in Thrive. Whether that's online or in person, you belong here. This series has been all about this very idea of showing up, being surprised, and seeing for yourself what Jesus and Christmas is all about. So I hope you come back, not just next week or next month, but for weeks to come. After all, you are invited. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I love you guys. I hope you have an awesome Christmas, and we'll see you soon.